Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Kicking it with KeKe. Full of personality. Switching up the storyline on God, we making history.
Writing books, changing lives, one day at a time. Put your problems to the side. Enjoy yourself. Free your mind.
Kicking it with KeKe. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am your host, author KeKe Chanel, lifestyle blogger, as well as certified mindset coach. Today, I am joined with a very special guest, and y'all know how I like to do. I like to give my guests the opportunity to tell you guys who they are and what they do. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to her. Hello. Thank you for coming to kick it with me today. Go ahead and tell the audience who you are and what you do, love.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
so excited to connect. I'm loving the gold crown. And when you said and all that other shit, I was like, oh yeah, that's what
Yes.
we're doing. So
Yes.
my name is LaShana West. I am a business therapist and mindset coach. And so what I do is I help entrepreneurs, CEOs, and leaders move the mental blocks that's stopping them from launching and growing so they can build their business without the scarcity. A lot of times we struggle with imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs and negative thoughts. And I believe with support, anyone can achieve the dreams that they have for themselves.
Absolutely. I love that. Again, thank you for coming to kick it with me. Before we get into today's topic, I always like to ask my guests about personal development and mindset because the overall theme for Kicking It with KeKe is to have these conversations about how important personal development and mindset is so that we can change the narrative in our culture, our community, and our consciousness. So for you, what does personal development mean or look like?
Yeah, I love that question. To be brutally honest, I believe it looks like self-awareness. We cannot address what we're not aware of. And so even if I need to work on my communication or, how I'm navigating the world, if I don't understand and I don't see that that's a problem, my perception is my reality. So becoming self-aware of the work that needs to be done, but still giving yourself grace on where you are. That's what personal development means to me.
You know what? And I love that you say that because we don't give ourselves grace enough. We always are our worst critic. We don't celebrate the small wins. We just don't sit in the space of growth and opportunity. We always move or look for something better. I don't think that what we've achieved is good enough. So I love that. I love that that definition, your definition of what personal development and growth means to you. But let's get into mindset because I'm a certified mindset coach as well. And you talk about mindset and you help other people pinpoint their mindset so we can change it. It all starts with the decision to do better. So how did you get into the mindset space?
Yeah, so I'm a mental health therapist by trade. So went to college, got the master's in clinical counseling, did all the traditional mental health things, working with at-risk families and whatnot. And then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and seen the entrepreneurial scene. I didn't know what a creative was, what an entrepreneur was. And I seen movers and shakers wearing hoodies, wearing Jordans, wearing jeans, purple nail polish, green hair, whatever they wanted to, and literally building their business, leaving corporate and standing full in their power. And I was like, wow, so I can literally get paid to do what I love to do without no one telling me what to do.
Right.
And I ran and got my LLC, started my business, but I seen the biggest gap was mindset. And it didn't matter if they were a 9-to-5er, 6-figure earner, or a millionaire or billionaire, right? Mindset matters and it impacts us in different ways. So I literally just went deeper into my niche of being a therapist and elevated to business therapy and mindset coaching. And that's literally how it came to be.
I love that. And I love what you're talking about, business therapy. So that is our topic for today, business therapy. And I think personal development, mindset, overcoming imposter syndrome, finding out who you are and embracing that without being compromising or just letting other people tell you who you are. So
Mhm.
let's talk about the business therapy for the listener who may not know what that means. Can you just break
Yeah,
that down to us and let us know what business therapy is?
sure. So I literally coined business therapy, and I probably need to go ahead and
Trademark.
trademark, go deeper with it. And one thing about me, they're like, "Oh, you need to trademark that." I don't have a scarcity mindset. I know my skill set. And if 5 people pop up and say I'm a business therapist, that's great. They still don't do what I do. You know
Right.
what I'm
Oh,
saying? Now,
I
do
love
I need to
that.
get a trademark? Yes, but that's not going to like put me in a scarcity mode because I know whose I am. But
Hmm.
in short, business therapy literally is helping you to identify how your own inner baggage and unresolved trauma impacts your ability to function as a CEO, build and grow your business, right? A lot of times we think it's separate. This is my life, this is my business. I disagree. They go hand in hand. And as Carisha said, they go together real bad. Okay.
Hmm.
And a lot of times we try to compartmentalize and put our stuff on the shelf and show up, but we are literally holding ourselves hostage and
Hmm.
bleeding while leading when we don't do our inner work, which is why I literally use a strategic therapeutic approach to provide business therapy to entrepreneurs and CEOs.
I love that. Bleeding while leading. You cannot do it. It does not work. It does not work.
It's not
And
sustainable.
it's
Mm-mm.
not. And you get and I like how you talk about the baggage part, because my handle for my business is I help individuals unpack mental baggage to
Yep.
tap into a new mindset. And that starts with positive personal growth. And I believe that having that mindset of scarcity holds a lot of us back as CEOs, entrepreneurs, coaches, or what have you, because we growing up in the Black community, we didn't talk about having much. We didn't talk
Right.
about that. We talked about you go to school, you start a family, you take care of your family, you work to pay bills, right? So let's
Mm-hmm.
get into that. Like someone who is listening that may feel like that they are not good enough, or that success should not find them. What can you
Yeah.
tell them?
Yeah. Honestly, I would use my 6A+ method. So my business is called Accountability on Demand. And I think that we have to hold ourselves accountable to everything that we do, feel, and deal with. And I'm not saying, oh, whatever happened for you, not to you, in the past is not important. But what I am saying is use that as a stepping stone and learn from it and embrace it instead of letting it hold you hostage.
Right.
Um, those negative thoughts are feelings, and
Hmm.
feelings matter, but feelings are not facts,
Oh, I love
right?
that. Hmm.
And so, literally unpacking that is okay, I'm aware that I'm feeling this way. That's the first A to the 6A+ method. I'm going to acknowledge it because it is important. A lot of times we're aware, but we don't acknowledge it. We ignore it, we dismiss it, we put it on the side and try to get back to it later, but we never get back to it until it's a crisis, right?
Right. Hmm.
And so you got the awareness, acknowledgement, and then I need to assess people, places, and things that don't serve me. So if I'm thinking I'm not good enough, this ain't for me, who am I around that's either filling my cup or depleting my cup, that's increasing that kind of mindset? What
Hmm.
kind of things am I doing? Am I scrolling on social media, comparing myself and getting in a hater mode? Oh my God, they
Mm.
doing this again. Oh my, right?
Right.
People, places, and things. And where am I going? Where am I frequenting? What am I doing? So you
Mhm.
have to assess all of those things. And then number 4 is analyze where the gap is so you can address it. And most times we are around the wrong environments. We're not being celebrated, we're being tolerated, and it continues to hold us back. I'm looking at
Ooh.
your facials.
Oh, we're not being celebrated, we're being tolerated.
Tolerated.
Let's unpack that a little bit, because I deal with that so much. People start off with good intentions and they get a little bit of notoriety, and then they change up on the people that's been down for them for the since the beginning. So let's talk
Yeah.
about being celebrated, like being not being celebrated, but being tolerated. Because
Yeah.
that right there was like a mic drop moment for me.
Yeah, well, honestly, that came from corporate. I left corporate 2 years ago, but before, when I was there, you're in these roles and you're being tolerated, but you're not being celebrated. And when I say celebrate it, for your unique gifts, your quirks, your everything about you, right? Instead, it's, oh yeah, sometimes they're not even acknowledging how dope you are.
Right.
And so when we experience that in one environment, that's how we accept, whether it's in parenting, whether it's in relationships. You carry that if you don't address it and be assertive in asking for what you want, so you can teach people how to treat you.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And when I say what environments are just tolerating you, not celebrating you, it could be anything from social environments, communities that you joined, your church, your family, whoever it is, nobody is exempt.
Right.
And if you don't feel excited and invigorated and a part of the party every single day, you need to assess, am I in the right room?
Right. And it's okay to not stay in those rooms. Yeah, doors will open, but you have to know when it's time to leave those spaces.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so after you analyze that, you have to activate a plan so you can take accountability and do something different. A lot of times we're aware, we acknowledge it, we assess it, we analyze it, but we don't activate a plan, so we stay in that lull. And after we activate a plan, you got to continue to ask for help. ASK, which is one of the biggest issues that most Black women and most people struggle with, because, well, if I ask for help, are they going to help me? Is that going to make me look weak? I can do it all by myself. You can do it, but how well is it getting done, and how quickly is it getting done?
At some point, you outgrow yourself and you need a team.
Correct.
You have to know who to invite to the table. And that comes with believing in yourself enough that you're going to be able to feed everybody when you do sit down and have that feast, and know that everybody is on the same, mindset of growth and abundance. Because you can want your best friend to come along all the time, but she may not be in that space. You can want your spouse to be on your team too, but they may be sinking the business. So,
girl, listen, you may want to hire your kids and they need to go work at the corner store instead. And I get it, you want the family business XYZ, but sometimes that's going to sabotage the business and stress you out to where you can't even be your full self.
Absolutely. Man, that's a word. Somebody needed to hear that. I hope you guys are listening and taking what she is putting down. If not, go back and watch it. Go back and listen to it. If you're watching it on YouTube, go back and rewind it, rewatch it, because, LaShana is a woman that's doing great things in her space. We just recently became connected with each other, but I see you, sis. I see you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Continue blessings to you, and just showing up, because we have to show up. Even if it's just like going live and having 1 or 2 people on there, treat those 1 or 2 people like it's a million.
Amen.
Yeah. So showing up, let's talk about showing up with the mindset of, I belong here.
Yeah, man. So when I think of that, I think of unwavering confidence, even when you truly don't feel that confident. They call it fake it till you make it. Some people don't like that, but I'll be brutally honest with you. You're going to have to show up and be your biggest cheerleader, because if you're not, why should anybody else do it? Right. And I think a lot of times we want people to come and save us.
Oh,
nobody's coming to save us.
Right.
And it's not because they don't want to. It's because they're still trying to figure out how to save themselves.
Talk about it.
Right? We all still trying to figure it out. So how can I expect my mom, my daughter, my clients, my coach, my community to save me? But if we're all doing our own work, we are all building our vigor and our confidence to support each other, but we have to support ourselves first. So me showing up confidently is me being courageous enough to do it.
Right.
And having the clarity to know who I am, whose I am, and how I want to make my mark in this thing called life and business. And I promise you, it organically just connects, but you have to build the confidence to get out of your own way to start. And that's literally the presence of my business.
Absolutely. You have to get out of your own way. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to do anything in life and you're standing in your own way, you'll never get to where you're trying to be. You'll never get to what you're deserving of. Yep. Because you have that like stagnant mindset, or stuck mindset or victim mindset. It's a lot of different type of mindsets that we can get into. But I want to talk about that abundant mindset. That's like one of my favorites
Mhm.
because it's like I can have anything that I work toward. I'm not looking for what anybody else has. I want what God has for me because I'm a woman of
Yeah.
faith and I pray and I ask God to lead me to what he has for me, as well as
Mhm.
connecting me with people, that's like-minded or have like kindred spirits and things like that. So
Yep.
let's talk about the importance of having that or tapping into that abundant mindset.
Sure. So I call it success mindset. Um, in my opinion, a tisket a tasket, it just depends on your brand and how you see it. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, a mindset for more, a mindset to dream bigger, a mindset to say, you know what, this is what I want. I'm deserving of it, and I'm going to go get it no matter what.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
Attracting it, creating space for it to come, inviting it. Because I don't know about you, but I've gotten to a point to where I can't even tolerate negative, pessimistic thinking or communication. I don't care if it's my mom, my daughter, I don't care who it is. It
Facts.
literally triggers me to where I gotta end the conversation, provide feedback about it, or separate myself.
Absolutely. I'm there with you. I mean, I think that happened like 10 years ago, actually, for me. Like
Yeah,
my BS radar is just I don't have it's like
low
I
tolerance.
don't have time, no tolerance at all.
Yep,
Because people will drain you if you let them. Setting those healthy boundaries,
yep,
forming those healthy habits, because not all habits are bad, and we have a tendency to say habit thinking that it's negative. But you
right.
have to form those healthy habits that will propel you into your greatness. And I
Most.
love that you say that, like, you don't care who it is, like, for real. Like, going through a tragic situation my family and I went through in 2020, the
Mhm.
stuff that used to get me worked up, I don't care about that no more. It's like,
Yep,
if it's not going to matter to me in 10 minutes, why am I stressing over it? Because guess what? It's not going to change anything because that person going to get off the phone with me, call somebody else and stress them the hell out.
that's right. That's right. They're dumping
Hmm.
and they're projecting. And one thing that I'm working on is to communicate how I feel so they're aware, and then I'm putting it back on their plate. But if I just say, hey, I gotta go, I'll call you back, and I don't hold them accountable to their behavior, guess what they're gonna do? Repeat it over
Repeat
and
it.
over again.
Hmm.
So instead, hey, I feel like you're projecting right now, you're sharing a lot of negativity, and it's not it's counterproductive. It's one thing to say, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I'm working on. It's another thing to say, you know what, this happened, this is what I'm struggling with, da 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 da, and just dishing it on me. We're not doing that.
Right.
You want to know why? Because
Hmm.
I've been working so hard and too hard on myself to where you're not going to drag me into your dark hole.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because I've dug myself out of depression and darkness a long time ago, and have a memoir that's coming out that speaks about my journey of self love because I wasn't
Right?
always there. But I
Yeah.
thank God that He didn't take His hands off me when I was in my
Hmm.
mess. So now I can use that mess as a message to help somebody else get through it.
I
And
love it.
so, yeah, yeah. Oh, listen, y'all have been listening to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am joined with LaShana West today. She is a business therapist, and we're talking about mindset. We're talking about business therapy. We're talking about clarity. Let's get into confidence for
Hmm.
a little bit. And I know you like to talk about confidence, and a lot of people put on a front. I've noticed by being in different spaces on social media since COVID. We don't really have events. We get into that space again where we're having in-person events, but
Yeah.
just being on virtual and social media space, a lot of people's confidence is not the way that it used to be.
Right.
Why do you
But
think that is?
honestly, this is the real tea though. A lot of people aren't as confident as they appear to be.
Mm,
And now the truth is coming out because you can only hide from yourself for so long,
absolutely. Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So the longer you rock with them, you kind of see, or when you meet them in person, you kind of see. And this is the thing. It's not like, oh, you're better than someone if you're more confident. I say just be yourself.
Be
If you're an
yourself.
introvert, how can introverts still express their confidence? Maybe instead of showing up all the time with their face to the camera, it's reels with just the words, or it's carousels, or it's pictures, or it's something with your voice. You don't always have to hey, what's up, guys? Da-da-da. You don't always got to do that, right?
Right. Because I'm an
And
introvert. I'm a big introvert. Can you tell?
really,
I am.
actually, I can't tell. It's not blatant. I mean, now that you say that, okay, I get it, but I would never have gotten that from you.
Mm,
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting a whole lot better because otherwise I wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Right.
But I love it, and I'm glad that I was obedient and tapped into it. I was not really forced, but pushed into it by God after losing a child,
Mm,
and that
okay.
right there, going live and starting Kicking It with KeKe live on Instagram was therapy for me because I got to
Mm,
interact with people. It was right in the middle of COVID. Like COVID hit in March 2020. She passed away in April of 2020.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we just celebrated her 3-year anniversary of her passing. And I
Okay.
say celebrate because it was not a dark day for me like it was 2 years ago.
Yes.
I channeled how she would want us to look at that day. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning that when God gives me signs or wonders, or I just get something, like I may be talking to somebody has her name, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's her letting me know that she good.
Yeah.
And so yeah, to have that confidence, going back to the confidence, not trying to bring everybody down with the mood, because life happens and we all lose loved ones. And I'm glad that I'm in a space where I can talk about it without breaking down and being emotional. So
Most
I'm thankful for
definitely.
that. Yeah. And it's a process, but I like that you say that most people are not confident as they appear to be. It's like got that mask on.
Yeah, and we all experience that. Even myself, like, just because I specialize in imposter syndrome, in courage, in confidence, and mental health does not mean I don't struggle with any of those things. I struggle with all of those things. But
Mhm.
the difference is I get up every single day and push through no matter what, but also be conscientious of when I need to pause and do my self-care work so I can continue to build the momentum,
Mhm.
healing while building.
Oh, I like that. Healing while building.
Yes.
Listen, she dropping gems, y'all.
And that
Wow.
is my new self-care line, healing while building. You don't have to heal first to build your business, to build your life, to build your relationships. To be brutally honest, it's a journey, it's not finite.
Right.
We're always healing. And healing doesn't always have to be from this big catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally being mindful, doing our self-care work, taking care of self so we can take care of others.
Right. And we can teach those people how to take care of us, because
Most definitely.
you set the stage of how people treat you, and setting those
Mm-hmm.
boundaries and having those standards does not make you better than anybody else. I mean, in a sense it does, because you want better for yourself. So that cycle of generational curses are looking at me how I was when I was 15 or even 20 years old, it stops now. I'm not that person anymore. So you can't treat me like that person. I have uh, those boundaries in place for a reason. And I went through a juicing challenge a couple of months ago, and I had to realize that I had to set boundaries with myself to enforce the boundaries that I set for other people. And I was
Mm.
not doing that.
Tell
Yeah.
me that. Go a little deeper in that for me.
I had to make sure that I was holding myself accountable by
Mm-hmm.
when I set those boundaries to keep those enforced. Because I would say, hey, I'm not gonna say yes to something if I don't feel led to say it.
Yeah.
But then someone will call me and I'm finding myself saying yes. And I'm like,
Yep.
come, wait a minute. You have to go back to what you said,
Yes.
because if they start playing with you, you can't fault anybody but yourself, because you're not enforcing those boundaries or
Yep.
keeping those boundaries in place. So it was like an eye opener to me. And I didn't know that I needed to do that, but the exercise that was given was like, write down something that you struggle with, that you know you struggle with, and you need to enforce in your life, reinforce in your life. And that
I
was
love that. I mean, I think that's how imposter syndrome is fed. We
mm,
show up saying, do this, do this, do this. And then once we click off or hang up, we go back to life and we do the things we say, tell others not to do. That's literally why I left corporate.
right.
I was preaching, walk fully in your power, uh, do what fills you up, what lifts you up. And I was going to a job every single day that I hated, and I was not being maximized, and I wasn't motivated. And then I would show up serving my clients and there was a disconnect. I was out of alignment.
Right.
As soon as I built the courage to make the decision to retire myself and leave, the abundance, the floodgates, the manifestation, everything just started pouring in, and it continues to do that. But we have to trust who we are and whose we are. And I'm not trying to tell people to leave their job, but what I am doing is telling you to listen to your inner self and go back to your inner child to see what you truly want, and then take the baby steps that you need to take to get closer to it.
Wow. And it's funny that you say that, because I didn't tell you what the exercise was, but it was that. It was that exactly. Going back to your inner child.
Yeah.
We had to do some guided meditation to go back to our inner child. See, alignment. I love when God just shows up out of nowhere and is like, okay, here you go. I'm like, all right, God, we see you. And
that is very ironic that you didn't tell me that, but it just goes to show that definitely alignment and, like minds attract. And that's why community is so important, because we're talking the same language.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's okay that your language sounds different from someone else's.
Yep.
You just have to, your vibe will attract your tribe. And I'm a firm believer in that. And sometimes tribes change.
Girl,
and
you
it's
need to go live about that. You need to go live about that. Tribes change, and that's okay.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, we should. Let's do it.
Should. Because it's needed. So many people are probably feeling that same way, but they don't want to say it because they scared they're gonna offend somebody that's in their circle, not realizing that that circle is closing you out.
And that's that. Go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. And just to keep it a buck, they're not rocking with you anyway. So what you missing out on?
Nothing. That was for me right there. That right there, what you just said, was for me, because I experienced something yesterday. Oh, listen. Oh, we should do it. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk after. We're gonna talk. But yeah, so we could go into that a lot, and yeah, a lot of people probably feel the same way. So let's talk about pinpointing mindset blocks or mental blocks. What does that look like or sound like for you? How do you help clients do it? What can you tell listeners about it? Because a lot of people don't know what blocks are, much less mindset blocks.
Gotcha. So first, I'll explain what a mindset block is. A mindset block is anything that is impeding your ability to function, think clearly, and maximize who you are and your potential. So it could be as subtle as this. I'm on LinkedIn looking for jobs, and I'm passing over all these jobs because I don't think I'm good enough.
Ooh.
That is a mindset block telling you you're not good enough, and a confidence block as well. So if we reframe that, here's the opportunity. I'm gonna throw my hand in the hat, and if they don't choose me, that's their loss. Here's the opportunity. I see there's 500 people that applied. Let me go ahead and add my 501. We'll see what happens. The opportunity is there. You have to take it. But the mindset block will tell you you're not good enough. You don't belong at the table, and you're not going to get hired. So why even do it?
Yeah.
You got a network opportunity come across your screen. I don't know if I want to rock with them. The last time they had a event, I seen all the, you just automatically self-defeating, self-sabotaging, and it stems from stuff that happened to you in the past.
Right.
Somebody did you wrong, some networking event, you didn't feel like you was being heard, so you carried that baggage to the next situation and circumstance. Let me give you a perfect mindset block for business owners who are launching. You do all this stuff to launch, you make a post, you get crickets, and now you start retreating. You don't want to show up live. You don't want to keep going because you think the people don't want what you got. When literally it's about positioning, and you just need to explore, are you even talking to the right people? Are you positioning and communicating what they truly need or what you think they need? There's so many ways. I call it try, test, and tweak, right? Entrepreneurship is a big hypothesis. Don't nobody really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Period.
Period.
How do I know this? because I see the same emails from all these different people, the same social media posts, the same. Everybody's trying different stuff.
Right.
Why can't you put your name in a hat and try it too and get off the sideline, get off the bench and get in the game?
Right.
Right?
You can't know if you win if you don't play.
And so, exactly. And so pinpointing is drilling down to why you're feeling that way. How long has it been happening? What other variables are correlated to that? And then we get to the root cause and not the surface cause.
Got it. Got it. I love that. I love that. So tell everybody how they can work with you, how they can, follow you and connect and things like that.
Sure. So I literally am on a mission to help more women in business move out of their own way so they can be better moms, better wives, better partners, better selves. And you can't do that if you're literally stretched thin. And so I do that through my business coaching, my life coaching, and ultimately all of my live events, virtual events, all that good jazz. So if you follow me on Instagram at LaShana West, if you DM the word breakthrough, you'll get a complimentary link to book a clarity call with me to see how I can support you, because I can support you on different levels. And it depends on what you need. And we can assess to see if I'm a good fit to work with you.
Absolutely. I love that. And all of her information will be in the show notes. So you don't have a choice but to go. And if that resonates with you, just, DM what she just said. All the information will be there for you. So what's next for you? What can you share? What do you want to share? What's next for you and your business?
Yeah, so I didn't mention this, but I also have a multi-purpose content creation studio called Pop Up and Create here in Atlanta. I wanted to create a safe space and a safe haven for entrepreneurs, CEOs, and leaders to come create podcasts, do all the things. So that is growing, excited about that. And in regards to what's on the horizon for me is continuing to do what I'm doing and maximizing my speaking opportunities during a tour around the world so I can actually see and feel people. It's so funny. You're familiar with the book, The 5 Love Languages, right?
Uh-huh.
And I truly believe that those same 5 love languages align with how we market and connect in our business. Words of affirmation, gifts,
Acts of service.
acts of service, the whole 9, right? And so what I realized, one of my high touch points is acts of service, because accountability on demand, I'm literally always showing up, serving my clients, checking on them. And then also quality time and physical touch. What is physical touch? This is physical touch, what we're doing right now. Even though it's not live, but from doing things like this to doing live events, my VIP days, things of that nature. So just continue to do what I'm doing and making an impact in this thing called life.
Absolutely. I love it. And before we get out of here, I love to ask my guest a question on a personal note. What would your now self tell your younger self about confidence or clarity or something that we just talked about during this episode?
Love that. I actually asked that same question on my podcast.
Nice.
So I would tell my younger self that you are enough just the way you are. And for those who are ready to experience it, will come.
Absolutely. I love that. And see, I didn't know about the podcast. So tell the people how they can tune in, support, and things like that. Plug that podcast.
Definitely. Well, my podcast is called Accountability on Demand Podcast. And we actually have a series called Entrepreneur on the Rise. I would love to have you as a guest. And
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure to follow us on YouTube, guys, and also on Instagram. But it's literally creating space for these kind of thought-provoking, elevated conversations that are not being had in the medium.
All right. I love that. I would love to be a guest. You let me know, send me the information, and I'm there.
Will do, love. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you again for coming to kick with me. It has been amazing. It has been a pleasure again. Continued success to you. Keep just being you for real. Because listen, these people not ready. They need to get ready, because you bringing it. You doing it in love. You doing it in kindness, and you do it with confidence, and you wear it well. So keep being you. Again, you guys have been listening to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, life, love, and all that other shit. Until next time, man, own that stuff and know that you belong in that room. Show up confidently, unapologetically, and let these people see the real you so they can fall in love with you.
Oh, that's
For
good,
real.
right?
Yeah. And that's all I got to say. Until next time, purple hugs.